It's 3 a.m. and you're staring at your ceiling again, while your phone screen glows with the ghost of 1,000 scrolls. You have a massive exam tomorrow, or a project due that could literally change your life, but your brain feels like it's being dragged through wet cement. You're trapped in that miserable cycle where you stay up late to reclaim the time you lost during the day, only to wake up feeling like a zombie, which makes you unproductive, which makes you stay up late again. Most people will tell you to just sleep 8 hours, but let's be real. Sometimes that's just not an option when you're trying to build something great or survive a heavy course load. What if I told you that the secret to waking up feeling like a literal superhero isn't about the quantity of hours, but a specific set of ancient Japanese principles that optimize your biology? We're talking about the elite level of rest that allows you to function on less while feeling significantly better than the guy who slept 10 hours and woke up groggy. The Japanese have one of the most intense work cultures on the planet, yet they've mastered these micro habits that keep them sharp, focused, and weirdly energized. If you're tired of the burnout and the brain fog, you need to listen closely because these 5 secrets are going to shift your entire reality. But before we dive into the first technique, you need to understand one thing. Your current sleep strategy is actually sabotaging your dopamine levels, which is why you feel so unmotivated the second you open your eyes. The biggest mistake you're making right now is setting your alarm based on when you need to be at school or work. That's a trap. Your brain doesn't just shut off when you close your eyes, it moves through very specific waves. And if you interrupt a deep sleep cycle, you'll feel sleep drunk for the next 4 hours. This is why you can sleep for 9 hours and still feel like you got hit by a bus. The Japanese secret is aligning your wake-up time with the 90-minute ultradian rhythm. Think of your sleep like a series of waves. Each wave lasts about an hour and a half. If you wake up at the peak of the wave, you feel incredible. If you wake up at the bottom, in the deep sleep trough, you're ruined for the day. To sleep less and feel fresher, you need to aim for multiples of 90 minutes. That means 4.5 hours, 6 hours, or 7.5 hours. If you only have 5 hours to sleep, don't try to squeeze every minute out of it. Set your alarm for 4.5 hours. That extra 30 minutes of sleep is actually what's making you exhausted because it's pulling you into a new cycle you can't finish. When you master this timing, you cheat the system. You wake up during light REM sleep, which feels like a gentle nudge rather than a violent extraction from the void. But even with perfect timing, there's a physical reason your body feels heavy in the morning, and it has everything to do with what the Japanese call Inemuri. In the West, we see napping as a sign of laziness. In Japan, they have a concept called Inemuri, which translates to being present while sleeping. You'll see high-level executives and students doing this on the subway or at their desks. It's not a nap. It's a tactical shutdown. The secret to sleeping fewer hours at night is mastering the 20-minute power reset during your afternoon slump. Between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., your body temperature naturally drops. This is when most people reach for a third energy drink or a sugary snack, which leads to a massive crash later. Instead, you need to practice Inemuri. The key is to stay upright. Don't go to your bed. If you go to your bed, your brain thinks it's nighttime, kicks into deep sleep, and you'll wake up an hour later wondering what year it is. Sit in a chair, lean back, and close your eyes for exactly 20 minutes. This clears the adenosine, the sleep pressure chemical, out of your brain. It's like hitting the refresh button on a browser that's lagging. This allows you to stay high performance until the evening without needing that extra 2 hours of sleep at night. But there's a catch. If your body temperature is wrong, none of this works, which leads us to the most relaxing part of the Japanese routine. Japanese culture places a massive emphasis on Shinrin-Yoku or forest bathing, but you don't need a forest to make this work for your sleep. The secret here is actually how they use water to manipulate their internal thermostat. Most of us take a quick, lukewarm shower and jump into bed. That's a mistake. To fall asleep instantly and hit that deep, restorative phase faster, you need to use the hot soak method, or Ofuro. About 90 minutes before you want to be asleep, take a very hot shower or bath. Here's the science. The hot water brings all your blood flow to the surface of your skin. When you get out, that heat escapes rapidly, causing your core body temperature to plummet. This rapid drop in temperature is the biological trigger that tells your brain, it's time to produce melatonin. You're essentially hacking your brain into thinking it's nighttime. While your body is cooling down, you avoid all blue light stimulation. The Japanese approach isn't just about the dark, it's about the cool down. When your core is cool, your heart rate slows and you bypass the tossing and turning phase that usually wastes an hour of your night. You go from awake to deep sleep in minutes, making a 6-hour night feel like a 10-hour night. However, all of this is useless if your mind is still racing about that TikTok you just saw or the math test you're worried about. The reason you can't sleep isn't usually physical, it's mental clutter. We carry the stress of the day into the blankets with us. The Japanese practice a concept called sunao, which is a state of untrapped, honest mind. To wake up fresh, you have to close the tabs in your brain before your head hits the pillow. Think of your brain like a computer with 50 tabs open. If you just shut the lid, the battery drains all night. You need to manually close them. The Japanese method involves a simple evening cleansing ritual. Spend 5 minutes writing down every single thing you need to do tomorrow. Get it out of your working memory and onto paper. Then spend 2 minutes practicing zazen, just sitting and breathing. You aren't trying to meditate for an hour, you're just signaling to your nervous system that the hunt is over. This drops your cortisol levels. High cortisol is the enemy of freshness. If you wake up feeling anxious, it's because your cortisol was spiked all night. By practicing Sunao, you enter sleep in a neutral state, which means your brain can actually focus on repairing your muscles and filing away memories instead of worrying about a to-do list. But there is one final secret, the most important one, that determines if you'll actually get out of bed or hit snooze for 40 minutes. You've probably heard of Ikigai, your reason for being. Most people think this is some big life purpose, but in the context of sleep, it's much smaller. The reason you feel groggy and unfresh in the morning is often because you have no immediate micro-Ikigai to look forward to. When your first thought is, I have to go to work or I have to study, your brain releases stress hormones that make you want to hide under the covers. The Japanese secret to waking up fresh is to define your small success the night before. This is a tiny, pleasurable thing that happens the moment you wake up. Maybe it's a specific high-quality coffee, 5 minutes of reading a book you actually love, or even just the feeling of the sun hitting your face. When you have a micro-Ikigai, your brain bypasses the sleep inertia phase because it's excited. You aren't waking up away from sleep, you're waking up towards something. Combine this with the 90-minute rule, and you'll find that you don't need to scroll on your phone for 30 minutes to wake up. You'll be alert the second the alarm goes off. Most people are going to keep complaining about being tired. They're going to keep drinking energy drinks and wondering why they feel like trash. But you're different. You now have the blueprint. You have the 90-minute cycles, the Inemuri power resets, the thermal hacks, the mental decluttering, and the power of Ikigai. Don't try to do all 5 tonight, just pick one. Start with the 90-minute rule. Calculate your wake-up time right now. Stop letting sleep be something that happens to you and start making it something you master. You have big goals and you can't reach them if you're operating at 40% capacity. It's time to level up your rest so you can dominate your days. Try this tonight. See the difference tomorrow? Let's level up together.